Good morning. Welcome to My Life, My Journey. Man, it's been an interesting weekend. I got to hang out with my daughter, that was one thing, but I woke up this morning and I don't have any toilet paper. That's right, don't have no toilet paper. And I'm just like sitting here with no toilet paper. But the one good thing about it is that I got some Kleenex. I reached behind me and I found these. So I'm thankful for some Kleenex. I realized that it was a God. Yesterday I knew I didn't have any toilet paper, but I got super busy. We went out to go have a meeting about this big event that we're doing. It's like an African braai. That's what we're doing March 11th, and then March 12th we have another big event. It's going to be like an all-day event, so I had to be up all night doing a quote for that. Me and my colleague was doing a quote. Yeah, and so it's been an interesting weekend. My daughter was in the car. I don't know how we got on the subject, but she was like talking about how I don't know what kids are learning in school. I don't know. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying, like, she was talking about like how we're all running out of water, we're running out of food, we're overly populated. It's caused a lot of anxiety talking to her in the car because she was just like, yeah, I think that we should just all realize and just face the fact that, soon we're all going to eventually die. And, it just didn't sit well with me because I'm like, well, baby girl, like, what's your purpose? Do you think that we have a purpose? And she was like, took a long pause and was like, I think that my purpose is just to be happy and try to just make people around me happy. And I was just like, okay, well, to me, that's not a good purpose for me, just to try to be happy and realize that I'm going to die one day. There's no hope for anything, nothing. That's it. I'm just here for nothing. So why not cause havoc on the earth? Why not just act a fool? And I realized, and you have to understand that my way of thinking is not the same that her way of thinking is. Like, she's just like, no, we should have peace on earth, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sure that there's somebody else that doesn't even have the same thinking as me. They're probably like, oh, you know what? There's no hope for me. I'm gonna try to kill as many people as I want to kill. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got so many different things that's going on in the world that's probably unexplainable. You have people just killing each other and people just breaking in people's homes, robbing, stealing, and it's just so much chaos here on earth, right? So everybody has their own reasons, everybody has their own thoughts, and I think the one thought that the reason why I don't have I'm at peace. I'm at peace with the things that's going on here on earth, and that's what again, the reason why I'm so unpopular on this YouTube channel is because I talk about God, but in everything that happens in life, I can't help but to realize that there is a God. When I walk outside on my doorstep and I look up and I look at if I think of outside of all the bad things that's going on in the world, there's a creator. There's some kind of intelligence that created this thing, that made this happen. Somebody gave us the intelligence that we have, right? There's only so much that science can explain, right? It's funny because yesterday when I went to my meeting, the preacher, the brother that gave the talk, his talk was, does your hope rest on science or the Bible? That was the title of his talk, and he really executed it really well. Some of the points that he brought out was how science is amazing. He brought out that, in 1960, 69, a man went to the moon. He went to the moon, he was able to capture a picture of the earth, which verified that the earth was round, right? The Bible verified that the earth was round thousands of years ago, before 1969. But that's what we relied on. We relied on a man telling us that the earth was round rather than relying on the real scientists that told us that the earth was round. Science has been able to give us the opportunity to tinker with DNA, um, make medicines, vaccines, and science is great in that aspect. Um, he went on to talk about what science was and people's thoughts. Science has led people to think that that we as humans that we can come up with our own morals and our own thoughts and I think what science has done in some way, but this is just my opinion. That my opinion don't mean nothing. Don't go based on my opinion, but I think by talking to people, and I talk to a lot of people, that science has given us the opportunity to lean on our own understanding. And so, the belief in God is unpopular nowadays. I think that's why my YouTube channel is unpopular, because I do talk about God. But neither here nor there. A lot of things that science had, even though science is great, it created automobiles for us to get around, spaceships, rockets. It's also created a lot of weapons of mass destruction. So it has its ups and its downs. Science has given us a lot, but it's also taken a lot from the earth, from us. Explained that it has not helped with pollution or climate change. The greenhouse gases lead to high temperatures causing polar ice melt and species to collapse. Cardiovascular disease is the leading global cause of death, more than 18 million deaths per year in 2016, despite intense research since 1916. The National Cancer Act was a war on cancer declared in December of 1971, but has so far failed to deliver a cure. Cancer kills about 10 million people each year. Respiratory, diabetes-related, and dementia diseases kill about 10 million people a year as well. The Green Revolution was established in 1968. It was a promise in the 1960s to feed all the hungry people by increasing crop yields. But today, over 800 million people are hungry, and 9 million people die every year from starvation. So, not to mention new global problems of crop monoculture, pesticide damage, and negligent irrigation management. So these are all the things that science has not been able to give us answers about. It's very, very interesting to me. How we choose to put all our reliance either on ourselves or on science or evolution. And it's kind of worrisome because we have this book that has the answers to everything, and we choose not to listen to it. It's just like, God did write the Bible. Contrary to what you think, he did write the Bible. See, he inspired men to write it, but that's what he did. He inspired those men to write it. No, he didn't physically write it. That's just like I come out with a book. Many people come out with books every year, but they didn't physically write the book. They had somebody else write it. They told somebody else what to write in the book, and it's still their book. They're the author of that book. God is the author of the Bible. God gave us the Bible for us to dig in and get knowledge, not to just read on the surface, right? See, that's what a lot of us do. We just get the Bible. Oh, I read the Bible from the front to the back. Read the Bible from the front to the back. But you only got the surface. Every time that I read, I find something different. I can dig deeper. And a lot of people say that the Bible is not relevant to today, but I find that when I read the Bible, it's more relevant today than ever. It's weird, right? How everybody can get their own understandings from one book. People make the book contradict itself without looking at the whole picture. There's one big picture. Each verse, people go in the Bible says this, and the Bible said, well, what was that verse talking about? You know what I'm saying? I was reading this morning, and my message to you all is, be wise. Think. Be wise. You don't have to be big and strong to be wise. Think. Use your noodle. Ants are one of the most wisest creatures here on earth. Ants. They're not big. Their brains aren't that big. They manage to make things work for them in a major way, in a big way. So let's be wise. Think about it. Think about the intelligence that we have. We all have a purpose. And you can lean on your own understanding and say, this is what I think my purpose is. Because when I ask people what's your purpose here on earth, they don't say my purpose is. I think, know what your purpose is. God didn't put us here for us not to know what's going on. See, I don't fear the things that's going on around me. I don't fear the deaths. I don't fear the crazy stuff that's going on in the White House. This is man is ruling this world, yes. But the reason why the significance of Christ being here on earth was because of God's promise. He promised that he will get rid of those ruining the earth. So my daughter said that we're going to be the demise of ourselves. We're gonna ruin the earth for ourselves, and that's just not true. Because the Bible said also in prophecy that man will not ruin the earth. He's going to get rid of those who's ruining the earth. And so that's just the bottom line. Sometimes we got to read and look deep down inside. We read everybody else's books, but we don't read our creators. And know that you do have a creator, but you have a choice to believe that or not. And you can get to know him. You really can. But you have a choice. I love everybody. I love the fact that everybody has their own minds and their own opinions, so I would never try to force my opinion or my thought process on anyone else. I just try to get people to think. Just to think. The one thing that people really want here on earth is peace. People just want a peace just to know that everything is going to be okay. And to have that peace is like no other. Like, I know people that if they had as many bills and as much, and granted, the Bible says pay unto Caesar what's due to Caesar. So it's not meant for us. It's actually a sin to be in debt. So me being in debt is actually a sin. So I have to figure this thing out. But just to have that peace is I think it's major. I think it's big, and I want everybody to have that peace. And I think that when you get down to your knees and you give that heartfelt prayer where there's tears coming out your eyes, I think that he exposes himself and he makes himself known to you. You don't have to live in that distress anymore. And so he'll let you know. He'll have people knocking at your door. So I don't know. That was what's on my mind this morning. Sorry to be preaching. I don't mean to be preaching. I'm running really, really late. I've started this video over like 3 times, and I am thankful for this Kleenex this morning. That's the number one thing besides life. I mean, the attainable thing that I'm thankful for this morning is that Kleenex because, I need some toilet paper. But I just was trying to put some meat on y'all head, just something for y'all to think about. We all going to go our own way. We're all going to do our own thing. Just something for you to think about. Do you rely on science, or do you rely on a creator? Do you rely on something bigger than science? And I found that the real scientist, the greatest scientist that's ever lived is God. Enough said. I love y'all all. Y'all have a good day. I'll be back at y'all a little later. Have a good one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.